Ryan, looking back on the team and where it could have improved in order to get that last playoff spot, what do you see? I know it's only been 3 days, but what did you see?
Yeah, no, I think the team came a long way throughout the year. I think you look at the growth of the individual players and in the model that we're building with the development team in collaboration with the coaches, which really is, one unit. I think that was all positive. We can certainly, anytime you fall 1 point short of making the playoffs, you can always look back really at every game and identify some different things or, reflect back on some adversity that occurred throughout the season. But, the reality is everybody goes through adversity, and that's just part of this level and part of professional sports. So, looking back, there's definitely things that we'll reflect upon and refine some processes and improve some things going forward. As we try to get better and continue to put a good product on the ice and continue to allow our players to grow throughout the season and into next season.
What are your thoughts on the growth of Greg Moore as a head coach in this league?
Yeah, I mean, Greg and I have a relationship prior, working together in Chicago, and in the 5 years that it's been since our first year together, I saw a lot of growth in him this season. I think, a lot of times from an outside observer, you recognize, the games and the outcome, and everybody, wants to make the playoffs, and that's certainly a part of the job. But here, the main job of our head coach is fostering environment for the development of our players so that we can continue to move players on to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And we had a lot of call-ups this year. We had a lot of guys that went in and did a nice job. And then we also had a lot of guys that came in here first-year professional and made some huge strides so that they'll be knocking on the door next year and into the year after. So I think there's opportunity for all of us, myself included, to continue to grow and to continue to improve. But if we keep moving on the track that we're on, I think good things will continue to happen for our young players. And as we, get more and more experience for these guys, I think good things will happen for our team going forward.
You mentioned about your own personal growth. Often said that managing at this level is one of the hardest levels. What do you learn about the American Hockey League this year that makes that statement ring true?
Yeah, I think just with the incredible amount of roster turnover and the balancing act of, I can't really think of any level of hockey that I've been at before where the primary focus is in the development of the players, and you're trying to create an environment and a culture where you certainly want to win and certainly want to have success, as everybody wants to win. That's why you engage in any form of competition. But, just balancing that development piece with the winning and making sure that we're getting the right amount of opportunity for our young players who are the future, of the Toronto Maple Leafs, first and foremost. So I'd say that was the biggest adjustment. But, led by Rich Clune and the players that we have and the staff that we have here, it wasn't an overly difficult transition in that way. I think we laid out in the beginning, when we all met here at the start of the season, that we wanted to invest in young players. We wanted to develop them. We were going to rely on Rich Clune, and we wanted to create a culture where players wanted to be and players felt they were valued and felt they were getting better. And I think, as you talk to players here on their way out of town, it's seems to be a real common thread that runs throughout the group, is that people did feel that. So I think as we can continue to build on that foundation that we started to set this year going forward, we'll benefit from that for sure. And I will certainly, as I continue to grow in my role.
When you look at like Josh Hosang coming in at the beginning of the season saying he would take sticks to be in this organization, what did you see of the growth of him throughout this whole year?
Yeah, I think Josh and I think he would say we spent an incredible amount of time together talking about hockey and talking about life. He's a young person that has a very unique perspective on a lot of things, and he thinks about a lot of things in a different way, I think, than traditionally hockey players do. So for me, I was real happy. I thought his last game against Belleville was his best game. He was competitive. He was consistent in his effort throughout the game, and the flashes of dynamic traits that he has started to shine through. So, it's a great opportunity. I think, meeting with Josh earlier today, his last couple of years, he he hadn't played a ton of hockey. You know, he had been kind of bouncing around and doing different things, and felt like he, you know, set a foundation going forward for him that he can continue to build upon and continue to grow. You know, and for me, managing the team, he's a quality young person, and I enjoyed working with him.
What are some of the things to you? A lot of players talked about just how comfortable the room is, like you just said. What were some of the things that stood out to you about this team that allowed them to be so comfortable? I know Greg talked about Rich Clune being a big aspect of that, but what do you see it from?
Yeah, I would say, you know, one of the things reflecting on the earlier question, as we lean into next year, maybe it's dialing back that level of comfortability and finding a little bit greater degree of intensity and consistency day to day. But you know, I think that for players, there's a lot of pressure on young players, mental, emotional, physical, especially transitioning into pro hockey, coming from junior, coming from college. And I think it does start with Dickie. It starts with Greg and our coaching staff. We want to have an environment where people are feeling valued as human beings and are feeling valued that they're going to come in, they're able to make mistakes, and we, you know, made a lot of them throughout the season, but there are opportunities to grow. And so you make mistake, you meet with the coaching staff, you meet with the development team. We continue to work on the individual development plans that we have outlined for the players, and we have open dialogue where we treat them like human beings, and they come in and they're able to say anything that they want to say and speak candidly on items. And then it's a process where we work with them and grow. And I think it's very important. This is a very difficult league in that, quite frankly, every player that's on the team aspires to be on another team, and there's nowhere else that type of thing exists. So to get through a 72 game season and then hopefully next year, you know, make a deep run in the playoffs, you have to have a place where people feel valued and where they want to come to work and really enjoy the work that they're doing and enjoy the people that they're working with, and that's something that we try to, you know, instill in them every day.
And then just the last one from me, Curtis Douglas, Bobby McMahon, two guys coming in on AHL deals, and then they go through the season, they get NHL deals. What stood out about them two guys to you?
Curtis and Bobby have a lot of similarities in that they're young players that came in experience-wise. I was looking, I think, you know, our three centers that we most primarily deployed were Douglas, SDA, and Abramov, and I looked before they'd played a combined 17 AHL games, and they were carrying the mail for us down the middle, which was impressive. I think for Bobby and Curtis in particular, it's their work ethic, it's their mindset of wanting to get information from the staff, wanting to apply the information that they're given, a hunger to compete, a hunger to continue to grow, and just a willingness to get better every day. And I think for Curtis, he came in here and got a lot of confidence early. He probably produced, quite frankly, to a level that I didn't expect. I thought his offensive productivity was quite impressive. I also felt that his competitiveness, his ability to fight, you know, I looked at some of those, watched some of those things in real time, and certainly glad I wasn't on the other end of those events. You know, and you look at him and you start to project what he could be as he continues. You know, he's a young kid, 22 years old, with a 6'8" body. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years before he fully grows into his body and becomes what he will be. And I think if we can have the patience with a player like that, you know, when he gets to be 24 or 25 years old, with all that he brings, he can be a tremendous asset to this organization. And then Bobby McMahon, you know, I think is one of the great stories of the team. You know, he and I, when I spoke to him early on, you know, we had expected potentially a couple more forwards to clear waivers and to come down here, and our team may have had a little bit of a different makeup. And then obviously with the injury to Nick Robertson early, you know, our team started to change. So when I met with Bobby early, you know, I challenged him. I said, hey, I love your work ethic. I love your mindset. I love the power that you bring. I want you to continue to evolve your game and make more east-west plays and be a little more creative. And then, you know, he got the opportunity to come back really quick, and it quite frankly made me look a little foolish. So he and I have had a laugh about that a few times. For him to come in here and break that record for rookie scoring just speaks to the quality of person he is. But again, it comes back to the same things. It's a foundation of a consistency in work ethic every day, a consistency in mindset, a desire to improve, a desire to grow, and a desire to compete. And you know, if we could take from Bobby McMahon and inject you know, what he's made of in all of our players, I think that you know, we'll have a great deal of success going forward.